Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm also welcoming myself back to my channel because I have not posted a video in a really long time. I don't know where the time goes, but I'm excited because I've wanted to make a video about this for a really long time now, ever since I first found out about it. And finally, I'm doing it, even though it's freezing outside. I am currently in Washington Square Park, the iconic park in Manhattan's Greenwich Village, mere steps away from NYU's campus. It is full of students, families, musicians, you name it, and something a little bit darker. In 1797, the city's Common Council acquired this land for use as a potter's field. A potter's field is a mass burial place for very poor people, paupers, criminals, strangers, and it was even used as a mass burial place for the victims of the yellow fever outbreak that ravaged the area in the late 1700s and early 1800s. So that potter's field makes up what is today the eastern 2/3 of the park. The Potter's Field closed in 1825, and it was filled in, and Washington Square became a parade ground in 1826. So that's around 30 years of use for public burials. Current estimates place the number of bodies buried here during that time at around 20,000. 20,000 people were buried here. Most of them were buried in trenches or pits, in coffins. Some even had gravestones. And also, nearby churches used the northeastern portion of the park for their own church burials, and they utilized large vaults. And thanks to New York City's policy of leaving burials intact, leaving them where they lie, the majority of those 20,000 bodies are still here today, under our feet. Now, that's not to say that the bodies always remain hidden and buried beneath our feet. Throughout the 1800s and the 1900s, a lot of construction has happened here. It's built up this park to the way we see it today. You know, it took it from a parade ground to Washington Square Park. And through that construction, workers have encountered bodies. As recently as 2015, workers digging up an old water main came across 2 large burial vaults with around 30 skeletons. So finding bodies in this area is not that unusual. So consider that next time you come and visit New York City's Washington Square Park. I, for one, had no idea about this, and when I found out, I was absolutely fascinated. And I would say that most people don't know the story of what Washington Square Park once was and what is really below our feet. It's a really interesting story. As always, you can look in the video description and you'll find some more information and some more links. And before I let you go, I'm going to give you guys a little bonus because there's something else in Washington Square Park that is pretty interesting. I'll take you there now. Right behind me is a tree that is shrouded in legend. It's known as Hangman's Elm, or simply the Hanging Tree. It is an English elm, and it is the oldest known living tree in Manhattan. It is over 300 years old. It's over 110 feet tall. It was actually taller, but a storm a few years ago blew off the top part. The legend is that this tree played a role in a number of hangings that took place during the late 1700s and early 1800s. Legend has it that Revolutionary War traitors were hanged here, among others. But when you start to do some more research, you only find one name that comes up as someone who was hanged in the area. And that is the hanging of a young woman named Rose Butler in 1819, who was hanged for arson. Now, I reached out to the Washington Square Park Conservancy in preparation for this video, and they told me that Rose Butler was hanged in the Potter's Field. Not only that, but a gallows was built specifically for that incident in order to hang Rose Butler, which seems to indicate that public hangings in this area were not very common. And not only that, but during that time, this tree was on private property. It was not even part of the public land. It wasn't until 1825, once the Potter's Field had already closed, that the city acquired this portion of the land, and now it's part of Washington Square Park. But before that, it was private property. So for public hangings to take place on private property seems unlikely. Impossible? not necessarily, but unlikely. So until sometime in the future where maybe more information comes to light, the legend of Hangman's Elm will remain just that, a legend. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you next time. It's so cold. These are not ideal filming conditions, but I'm gonna film anyway.